Hey everybody, this is Roberto Blake of robertoblake.com, helping you create something awesome today. So today I want to talk about something very serious, something that I believe is holding the far majority of you back from creating awesome things, from sharing them with the world, from living a purposeful life that is aligned to your passion and the thing that you care the most about, is the simple fact that a lot of you are suffering from depression, anxiety. You feel like you can't win, and every day is a constant battle for you. And I know that that's true because I talk to a lot of creatives every single day, and for me personally, that was a real struggle that I had in my creative career for a very long time, and something we do not talk enough about in the creative services industry for a lot of reasons. It's a downer. A lot of people don't feel qualified to talk about it because they don't have a psychology degree, but the thing is, people who've survived and who've lived with and lived through their depression have a lot that they can offer in terms of what worked for them. Maybe someone's capable of reverse engineering that for themselves. If we don't talk about it, then people aren't served by that conversation and they can't get the help that they need one way or the other. And a lot of the deal with depression is sometimes you feel like the experiences that you have, even though intellectually you know better, are completely unique, or that nobody can really understand you. You don't feel like you connect and that you relate with other people nearly as well when you're going through those things. And again, I'm speaking from personal experience. I felt soul-crushingly lonely for the longest time. And there are times when I still feel that way as an entrepreneur, despite any successes that I've ever had. The thing is, I still sometimes very much feel that there's nobody who knows exactly what I'm going through and what it's like. And the thing is, there isn't. Nobody is in your mind. But there are people that are going through very similar things to you that can relate and can share experiences, can offer either help or guidance or camaraderie. Just knowing that you're not truly alone really matters sometimes. And again, because a lot of us feel very self-conscious because there haven't been a lot of places where we feel that it's appropriate or comfortable to have this conversation, because it's something that is not very comfortable to talk about. To lay your greatest fears and what you're going through and the things that you're telling yourself that probably aren't very positive, to lay all of that bare and to be vulnerable is very difficult and very challenging. And the thing is, not everybody is going to receive it well or understand or take it the right way or is going to offer you anything from it. And some of it is that people feel awkward and they don't feel like they have anything constructive that they can say, so they just stare at you with a blank face and give you a platitude. You know, they give you they've got that blank face on. They're like, oh, they're stumbling for something to say that doesn't sound awkward or silly. But you know what? The best thing you can do to comfort people is to let them know that you appreciate them and how you feel about them and what you feel when you're around them, and that you believe in them and what they're doing, or you respect what they're doing, or you appreciate what they've done for you in the past. I think that just acknowledging people, just being able to be good human beings and say thank you sometimes goes a long way. I know that if I have felt like people around me sometimes weren't taking me for granted or had, acknowledged something that I did or given me a simple thank you or some kind of consideration. I'm not saying they would have had to pander to me in any way. I'm just saying that those things at the worst moments in my life would have made a real difference. And also eliminating people from your life that do nothing but give you crap, who always dump on you, that matters too. And sometimes you can't get away from it because sometimes it's the workplace or it's your schoolmates, or sometimes for some people it's their family. And those situations are rough, but the thing is, you have to put yourself in a position to win, and you have to find ways to make it practical, to distance yourself from those people, to cut them out of your life. I think one of the best things I've ever done for my health, for my creativity, for my career, was to cut out the most negative and toxic people from my life, and I think that really mattered. This conversation is something that I think we need to have more of in the creative community. I've talked about it a few times here before on the channel, but the reason that I bring it up today as, a video that I'm doing for Graphic Design Mondays is because I know personally that a lot of graphic designers deal with depression and struggle with severe anxiety and don't do well under a tremendous amount of stress and pressure. I know that this industry, especially if you work in-house or at an agency, can breed a lot of negative thought processes, a lot of negative mental health, And I've experienced that firsthand. I know people who are still going through it to this day. And I think that it's something we need to acknowledge as a community and as a profession. And I think it's something we need to get very vocal about, and that we need to open up more about, and that we really need to address it, because I think that mental health and mental stability is not talked about enough. I think that a lot of people take it for granted. And I think that ultimately a lot of things are preventable if we actually are open about it, and if we receive it well, and if we just learn to treat people better and with more respect and with more compassion, because you just don't know what somebody's going through. You don't know if the one thing you said is the last thing they heard before they did something that can't be undone one way or the other. And, you know, as scary as a thought as it sounds, it's a responsibility that all of us shouldn't take nearly as lightly, and we should take real responsibility for our actions and what we put out into the world. That's why I keep telling you guys to create something awesome. It's not just about creating your best work. It's about creating the best experiences in life for yourself and for other human beings. I constantly reiterate that, and that's the reason, is because you just don't know what kind of day somebody's having. But if you can create a great experience for them, if you can be the person that out of like 10 people, you were the one, like out of 9 people, you were that 1 out of 10 that really, you know, made them feel better about things, you just don't know what impact that would have. You just can't know. And so with that in mind, I would just encourage you all to be more mindful, to be more awesome, and to be more kind and considerate. And if you're somebody who's struggling with depression, you're struggling with anxiety, you're just having a rough time of it, I would encourage you to find people that make you feel comfortable and make you feel safe, and to open up to them about it and to talk with them. Not all of you can afford a mental health care professional. Not all of you are willing to open yourself up to the scrutiny and stigma of that, and I get it. So the best thing I could tell you is to find people whom you share a bond with, and try and communicate to them how you're feeling and what you're going through. Not so much looking for answers or a solution, but looking to just be able to have yourself in a position where you're allowed that vulnerability, because that makes a real difference if you can unburden yourself. So I really think that that matters, and I would encourage you guys to do that. If you don't feel like you have that in real life with people you can put hands on, I would encourage you to find online communities and safe havens where there are other people going through what you are, or to start some kind of support group. That could be a real thing that you could do. And you know what? You can feel free to discuss it here in the comments. If you are a designer or a creative or a photographer or anybody that's going through severe depression, anxiety, you feel like you're being bullied or put down on or dumped on, and you just need a little bit of either to be able to talk about it, share your story, or you'd like some advice, go ahead and leave it in the comment section. I'm going to be heavily moderating the comments. I usually do, but this time, this is something so serious that I have to moderate it very heavily. And we're going to try and keep the conversation constructive there. So guys, I know this wasn't a lighthearted video. I know this wasn't a how-to video, but I still think this was an important conversation for us to have. And it's something that I've been meaning to revisit here on the channel for a long time. And, you know, I may come to this topic again. I think that it matters, and I think that a lot of you can identify with this. And I hope that the things that I've shared with you help. I mean, I've been through it. I've been there. And I know what it's like. I really do. I'm glad that I'm in a place where I feel very grateful for the life I had, but that has not always been the case. There have been some very dark times. I don't like revisiting them in my mind, but I do when I think it matters, and when I think that somebody would benefit from understanding that for, you know, whatever successes I have today or whatever happiness I have today, it's something that I had to work toward each and every day, and that any one day where I didn't probably would have been a day that would have kept me from getting here. So, as always, you guys, I want to encourage you, like I said, be kind to each other, be respectful of each other, learn to listen, learn to open up and be vulnerable, find people that you can talk to, and of course, remember, create something awesome today. Take care.